Check. 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 शुरू किया जाए ना। धन्यवाद है। आज की बेहद खास प्रेस वार्ता में पार्टी के पूर्व राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष माननीय सांसद राजीव रंजन सिंह जी, पार्टी के राष्ट्रीय उपाध्यक्ष और पूर्व प्रदेश अध्यक्ष माननीय मंत्री जी सुनील जी, माननीय मंत्री जयंत राज जी, माननीय मंत्री सरवन राव, माननीय मंत्री और माननीय सांसद हेगड़े साहब, नील हेगड़े साहब, पार्टी के सभी सम्मानित नेतागण, आप उपस्थित मीडिया के, प्रिंट मीडिया के, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मीडिया के छायाकार साथीगण, आप सबों का हार्दिक अभिनंदन है, स्वागत है। साथियों, आप सभी जानते हैं कि लोकतंत्र का रणभेरी का बिगुल बज चुका है, लोकतंत्र का महापर्व का बिगुल बज चुका है और आज आप सबों को महत्वपूर्ण जानकारी देने के लिए हम सबों के जो पार्टी के सर्वमान्य नेता माननीय मुख्यमंत्री नीतीश कुमार जी, राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष, जिन्हें जो हमारे हिस्से के जो सीट है उस सीट का उम्मीदवारी उन्होंने तय कर दिया है, जिसका घोषणा हम सबों के पार्टी के राष्ट्रीय उपाध्यक्ष माननीय पूर्व प्रदेश अध्यक्ष वशिष्ठ नारायण सिंह जी उस सीट का घोषणा करेंगे। हम उनको माइक देते हैं, उसके बाद बारी बारी से और भी हमारे नेता जो उपस्थित हैं वो रखेंगे। हाथ दबा देते पढ़ देता है, फिर वो भी हो जाएगा।
पार्टी के सभी वरिष्ठ नेता, प्रेस और मीडिया के साथियों, 18वीं लोकसभा का आम चुनाव होने जा रहा है और इसमें पार्टी ने अपने प्रत्याशियों की सूची माननीय राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष जी के निर्देश में और सभी साथियों से विचार विमर्श करके सूची तय किया गया। उसमें 1 नंबर वाल्मीकि नगर से सुनील कुमार जी पार्टी के प्रत्याशी होंगे। शिवहर से श्रीमती लवली आनंद उम्मीदवार होंगे। सीतामढ़ी से श्री देवेश चंद्र ठाकुर उम्मीदवार होंगे। झंझारपुर से श्री रामप्रीत मंडल जी पार्टी के प्रत्याशी होंगे। सुपौल से श्री दिलेश्वर कामत जी उम्मीदवार होंगे। कटिहार से दुलाल चंद गोस्वामी जी पार्टी के प्रत्याशी होंगे। पूर्णिया से श्री संतोष कुमार जी उम्मीदवार होंगे। मधेपुरा से दिनेश चंद्र यादव जी उम्मीदवार होंगे। गोपालगंज से डॉक्टर आलोक कुमार सुमन उम्मीदवार होंगे। सिवान से श्री विजया लक्ष्मी देवी प्रत्याशी होंगे। भागलपुर से अजय कुमार मंडल चुनाव लड़ेंगे। बांका से श्री गिरिधारी यादव उम्मीदवार होंगे। मुंगेर से श्री राजीव रंजन सिंह उर्फ ललन सिंह जी उम्मीदवार होंगे। नालंदा से श्री कौशलेंद्र कुमार उम्मीदवार होंगे। जहानाबाद से श्री चंदेश्वर प्रसाद जी उम्मीदवार होंगे। पार्टी ने काफी विचार विमर्श के बाद इन प्रत्याशियों को सेलेक्ट किया है। हम गठबंधन में हैं। इन 16 प्रत्याशियों किशनगंज मुजाहिद आलम जी उम्मीदवार होंगे। हम अपने प्रत्याशियों को तो विजयी बनाने के लिए पार्टी के साथ ही काम करेंगे, लेकिन गठबंधन के भी जो प्रत्याशी होंगे उनको भी जिताने के लिए हमारे साथी, हमारे समर्थक, हमारे कार्यकर्ता, ये सभी लोग जी जान से लगेंगे। और हम पूरी आशा और विश्वास के साथ आज सूची आपके सामने दे रहे हैं कि ये सभी उम्मीदवार निश्चित रूप से जीतेंगे। इस आशा और उम्मीद के साथ हम ये सूची आप लोगों को सौंप रहे हैं।
अरे हम चाहेंगे ना, अस्थिर से बता दिया जाएगा। अब बैठ जाइए। चाहेंगे कि अब विस्तार से हमारे राष्ट्रीय महासचिव संजय झा जी रखेंगे।
नहीं, इसमें जो राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष जी ने लिस्ट जारी किया है, इसमें 6 पिछड़े वर्ग से और 5 अति पिछड़े वर्ग से 11 टोटल प्रत्याशी पिछड़े और अति पिछड़े वर्ग से है। एक महादलित से हैं गोपालगंज से डॉक्टर आलोक कुमार सुमन, तो 12 हुआ। एक हमारे प्रत्याशी किशनगंज के हैं मुजाहिद आलम साहब, जो मुस्लिम समुदाय से आते हैं, और 3 अपर कास्ट के प्रत्याशी हैं। टोटल 16, उसमें 2 महिलाएं हैं। टोटल यही है 11 पिछड़े अति पिछड़े वर्ग से, एक महादलित 12, एक मुस्लिम जो हमारे प्रत्याशी हैं किशनगंज से, और 3 जो है मुंगेर, सीतामढ़ी और शिवहर, वहाँ से जो हमारे अपर कास्ट के प्रत्याशी हैं। एक तो ये था। इससे पहले भी दिल्ली में एनडीए का ज्वाइंट प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करके हम लोगों ने कौन किस सीट पे लड़ेगा वो तय किया था, जो बिल्कुल एनडीए में एकरूपता है। और आज भी जो बात हुई उसमें बीजेपी का लिस्ट दिल्ली से जारी हो रहा है, उनसे भी संपर्क में हम लोग हैं, तो कहीं कोई कन्फ्यूजन किसी की स्थिति नहीं है। और इसमें हमारे 12 सिटिंग जो हमारे सांसद है वो है, और कुछ जगह जो नया सीट आया हम लोगों का, तो उस पर नए प्रत्याशी आए हैं, और एक जगह हम लोगों ने चेंज किया। यही डिटेल आपके देना।
धन्यवाद। अब हम चाहेंगे विजय माननीय अच्छा विजेंद्र बाबू अब
कर दिया, इनका भी काम होना चाहिए। चलिए, बहुत धन्यवाद।
पार्टी के नेता पूर्व मंत्री पार्टी के नेता पूर्व प्रदेश अध्यक्ष माननीय मंत्री विजेंद्र बाबू से आग्रह करेंगे कि 2 शब्द रखें।
आदरणीय राष्ट्रीय उपाध्यक्ष जी, उपस्थित सभी वरिष्ठ नेतागण, देखिए, एक जो संजय झा जी ने, जो हमारे राष्ट्रीय महासचिव हैं, राष्ट्रीय महासचिव श्री संजय झा जी ने समाज के कंपोजिटिव वर्ग सबका प्रतिनिधित्व देने का काम पार्टी ने किया है। इनकी इस सूची के मुताबिक उन्होंने अत्यंत पिछड़ा ऊंची जात में भी देखिए, राजपूत है, ब्राह्मण है, भूमिहार है, महिला है, युवक भी है। जैसे किशनगंज के जो उम्मीदवार हैं वो युवक हैं। सभी लोगों का समावेश करने का काम हमारे राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष और माननीय बिहार के मुख्यमंत्री श्री नीतीश कुमार जी ने करने का, कि समाज का हर वर्ग, हर तबके का प्रतिनिधित्व भी हो, उनका विकास भी हो। यही उनका सिद्धांत, यही उनकी मान्यता है और जनता दल का यही उद्देश्य है। इसलिए इस सूची में कहीं कोई आपको किसी तरह की कोई ऐसी बातें नहीं दिखाई पड़ेगी जिसमें कि कोई किसी की उपेक्षा हुई है। बस इतना ही मुझे कहना है। धन्यवाद।
अब पार्टी के पूर्व राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष राजीव रंजन सिंह रूपलाल बाबू से हम आग्रह करेंगे।
आपको क्या बोलना है? पार्टी के राष्ट्रीय उपाध्यक्ष आदरणीय वशिष्ठ भाई, यहां उपस्थित पार्टी के सभी सम्मानित नेतागण, सभी सम्मानित माननीय मंत्रीगण और आप सभी पत्रकार साथियों, आज आदरणीय वशिष्ठ भाई ने जनता दल यूनाइटेड के हिस्से में जो 16 सीटें राष्ट्रीय जनतांत्रिक गठबंधन के द्वारा मिला था, वो 16 सीटों के लिए सूची जारी कर दी। एक तरफ राष्ट्रीय जनतांत्रिक गठबंधन एनडीए में आप लोगों ने देखा कि सीट बंटवारे से लेकर उम्मीदवारों के चयन तक कोई परेशानी नहीं है, पूरी एकजुटता है, पूरी सहमति है। और दूसरे तरफ आप सभी लोग देख रहे हैं कि महागठबंधन में सिर्फ फुटौल है। कौन कोई सिंबल लेके भाग रहा है, कोई टिकटें लेके भाग रहा है, कोई कुछ भाग रहा है। ये हालत अगर चुनाव के पहले सीटों के बंटवारा का है तो चुनाव के बाद क्या होगा? तो इसलिए और राष्ट्रीय जनतांत्रिक गठबंधन का लक्ष्य है, पिछले 2019 के चुनाव में हम लोग 39 सीट जीते थे। इस बार हम लोग जो 1 सीट हार गए थे उसको भी जीतेंगे और इस बार हम लोगों का लक्ष्य 40 का 40 सीट का लक्ष्य है। और फिर से इस देश के प्रधानमंत्री आदरणीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी को बनाने के लिए बिहार की जनता का समर्थन प्राप्त है। आप सबको मालूम है कि नीतीश कुमार जी ने पिछले 18-19 वर्षों में जो काम किया है, उस काम के प्रति आज भी बिहार की जनता का आकर्षण का केंद्र आदरणीय नीतीश कुमार जी हैं, बिहार के मुख्यमंत्री हैं और बिहार की जनता का व्यापक जन समर्थन है। और उस जन समर्थन के बल पर फिर से हम लोग 40 का 40 सीट जीतेंगे और हर हालत में जीतेंगे, ये हम लोग को पूर्ण विश्वास है। जिनको टिकट लेना होगा, कहीं जा रही होंगी तो टिकटार्थी है, तो टिकटार्थी है तो दल बदलुओं का क्या हाल होता है ये आपको मालूम है ना।
अब आप लोग को होली के शुभकामना, हार्दिक शुभकामना देते हुए कार्यक्रम को समाप्त की जाती है।
They don't have a problem with Modi's or BJP's Hindutva politics as much because they try to emulate it. They try to play the soft Hindutva card themselves. Their real problem with Modi is that Modi comes from no political background.
The Congress Karyakartas, they had more attitude than the Gandhi family themselves. In a house of 403 MLAs, you have 7 MLAs. 7. And that too after a Gathbandhan with Samajwadi. And people used to make fun of us, जब हम पहली बार विधायक बने थे कि अरे तुम कांग्रेस वाले तो एक इनोवा में चले जाया करो ना।
नहीं, पर अब इनोवा से रिक्शा की स्थिति में आ चुके हैं।
नहीं, स्कूटर 2 हैं अब 2 विधायक।
कोई राजा रंग को फोन करता है। अब सुनिए, इनके 15 सीएम निकल गए, इनको फोन जब नहीं गया तो आदित्य और मेरे जैसे लोगों को कहां से फोन आने वाला है। ताउम्र कांग्रेस यही गलती करती रही, धूल चेहरे पर थी, कांग्रेस आईना साफ करती।
What rather surprised me, perhaps I didn't realize it upon the time of joining the Congress party, is how much of a quote-unquote, anti-Hindu stance a lot of times they would take.
अगर मुझे कल मोदी जी या नड्डा जी बोलेंगे कि तुम मुस्लिम हो इसलिए हम तुम्हें बना रहे हैं, तो मैं रिजेक्ट कर दूंगा. If they make me only because I am Muslim, then I will say कि सर ये तो कांग्रेस भी करती थी, मांगा मुसलमान दिया सलमान.
The Congress party and the Communist Party were the only ones जिन्होंने स्पष्टता मना कर दिया. Other people at least they had the suhoor to be like, देखिए हम क्योंकि सब परिवार आना चाहते हैं तो हम बाद में जाएंगे.
I am a proud Muslim, but I don't think that we should be talking about eliminating Hinduism. We should not be talking about राम जी का अस्तित्व है या नहीं है. माइनॉरिटी की परिभाषा मुस्लिम नहीं है सिर्फ. माइनॉरिटी में सिख भी आते हैं, जैन भी आते हैं, पारसी भी आते हैं, बुद्धिस्ट भी आते हैं.
The largest minority are Muslims.
मैं तो देखता हूँ कि सेकंड लार्जेस्ट मेजॉरिटी है हम.
Priyanka Gandhi says to my ex-husband, you talk smack about her. चरित्र पर, ठीक है ना? About how she is and this and that and I'll give you a ticket.
जीशान को बोला 10 किलो घटा के और तब राहुल जी से मिलने मिलेगा. बताइए बेचारा वो जीशान बोल रहा है कि he said to ANI only.
Namaste, Jai Hind. Welcome to another edition of the ANI podcast with Smita Prakash. Thank you for liking and subscribing to the channel and for sharing these conversations with people who you think will benefit from listening into these. Today my guests are Shehzad Poonawala and Aditi Singh. Both were in the Congress party but left the Grand Old Party to join the BJP. I spoke with the two of them to understand why is it that they did not feel that they had a political future in a party which was then led by a youth leader, Rahul Gandhi, and they preferred to move to the BJP where the leadership is considered rigid and stodgy. Shehzad you see on TV debates almost every day. Aditi is the MLA from Rai Bareli, which was Sonia Gandhi's Lok Sabha constituency. Thank you, Shehzad. Thank you, Aditi, for being part of the podcast. It's so nice to have Yuva Netas actual Yuva Netas in the podcast. So may I call you by your first names?
Please do.
Thank you.
Absolutely, and thank you for having us, Smita. And we've been consuming your podcasts on a daily basis, and thank you for having us. We feel very privileged.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. For the benefit of our viewers who might think that अरे शहजाद है तो इस तरफ कोई कांग्रेस समर्थक क्यों नहीं है, just to let them know that this is not a TV debate, so this is just going to be genial conversation. And basically I want to know I want to know your reasons why, as young leaders, you wanted to leave a party which was led at that time by somebody who is considered a youth leader, a Yuva Neta. So both of you have your individual reasons for doing that, and you especially, Aditi, because you fought an election, you fought, and you were considered close to the Gandhi family. So you have your reason, Shehzad, you have your reason. But I'll begin with Shehzad because Shehzad left first. So Shehzad, most people do know about, those who know the reasons why it happened. But there are also people who live abroad, some of our young viewers and listeners who have just joined into listening or watching Indian politics. To them, could you explain that what were the circumstances, when it happened, and how difficult was it to leave the Congress party?
See, first of all, understand where I was coming from. In my family, nobody was in politics. Dur tak. My community also very less involvement in politics as such. We are a business community, most of the people. And therefore, for a person like me, when I was in school, 15, 16, I was very influenced by what I read in textbooks about the contribution of Congress party towards the freedom struggle, etc. And I was very influenced by that. And I used to come to Delhi. Every 6 months, I would save my pocket money. And then I would take one room in Arjun Nagar, which is a slightly cheaper area to live in. I would take the 610 Blue Line bus, and from there it used to be a 10 rupee ticket. I used to go to the Janpat Road station, bus stop, and from there I used to walk to Chaubis Akbar Road. And you know who used to drop me back? Tom Vadakkanji. He was the secretary of the AICC media department for the longest time. Tom Ji will also confirm the story.
24 Akbar Road being the Congress
headquarters. Now, I started off from there, and the idea was to be part of a party to serve the nation through the instrument of the party. But over a period of time, I figured that the practical experience was that the Parivar was the party. In BJP, the party is the Parivar. Here the Parivar had become the party, and either you have to accept and do everything that the Parivar says, you have to not seek any accountability from them, you have to say that it is only Parivar, not performance, that will matter, you have to give merit a byway, and that's the only way you can survive, through sycophancy.
But did you know that, Shehzad? Everybody knew that, right? Everybody who joined the Congress party, who was born into the Congress party, knew that it is a Gandhi family-led party.
In our families also, we all know that something is not right. We don't leave our families the first moment. We try to improve the things inside the family. We try to improve the things inside our business. We don't leave any system or organization or our association in the first go. We know that there are some faults. We hope that it will change. Rahul Ji, when he came in 2004, and then he subsequently became General Secretary, I think in 2009, in charge of Youth Congress and NSUI, he had promised us.
You were already in the Congress.
I was in the Congress. I was in NSUI, then I was in the Congress. I was one of the youngest office bearers of NSUI. I was Vice President of the Pune City Wing also.
What was your first meeting with Rahul Gandhi like?
The first meeting was during the time when he was trying to revolutionize the Indian Youth Congress.
He had taken that up as an assignment. And at that time, he had told us that, look, I am going to give entry to people who have no family backgrounds. Yeah. You don't need to have money power to be a part of the system. It's going to be a completely transparent elected system. That's what he had assured us. We obviously gave him time to put that system in place. But by the end of it, the Youth Congress became more dominated by Namdars. So every state president was either the son or daughter of some politician or some neta. And the entire system had become more oriented towards having papas or mummies, friends, sons and daughters.
So was he not in control of who's going to
No, he was absolutely in control. He was absolutely in control, and this is the problem. I feel after my various interactions with Rahul and people around him that he prefers to have people who have been friends with his father or who have been friends with his family in positions around him and in positions of power. He's for the lack of a better word, he's very entitled in his thinking and he's very elitist. I'll give you an example. I was, I think, second or third who left after Hemantaji. The manner in which he treated Hemanta, because Hemantaji does not have, like me, he did not have a family background in politics. Hemantaji is a self-made man, as opposed to a Gaurav Gogoi, whom Rahul will have a different respect for because Tarunji and Rajivji or Tarunji and Soniaji are close. So he has a different orientation. Even if you see people around him, they are sons and daughters of somebody whom he relies on. And therefore, I think he has actually got a sense of entitlement and a sense of arrogance that I come from a particular lineage, pedigree. These people also have a similar pedigree to me. You people are not in the same pedigree. So I can bestow something upon you, but he doesn't really mean it. And therefore, after spending a lot of time, 2017, cutting short the story, in 2017, my only request was when they were trying to coronate him, and I use this word very consciously, they were going to coronate him as the president. I told the party, confidentially within the party platform, that look, there should be an election. It should be a free and fair election. It should be an election as mandated by the Congress constitution, which means that the delegates also have to be elected. It can't just be that, the delegates are selected by Sonia Ji's people and then obviously they will elect Rahul Gandhi. So it has to be a transparent election, which didn't happen even in Kharge ji's case. Shashi Tharoor ji says that there were a lot of things left to be desired. So instead of having an election, they had a coronation. And that's when I said that, look, this party is unwilling to put in place principles it advocates elsewhere. It says Loktantra in the entire country, but अपने आप को लोकतंत्र मुक्त करके रखा है. मतलब दिस इज द आयरनी कि दे वांट लोकतंत्र इन द कंट्री. जैसे मोदी जी लोकतंत्र को बर्बाद कर रहे हैं, पर अपनी पार्टी में लोकतंत्र नहीं चाहिए. लेट मी जस्ट गिव वन एग्जांपल. फ्रॉम 1978 to 2022, that is 44 years, one family has been at the helm of affairs of Congress. Sonia ji, Rahul ji, Indira ji, Rajiv ji, for 38 years, 39 years, except for 2-3 years of Narasimha Rao ji and 2-3 years of Sitaram Kesi, and we all know what they did to Sitaram Kesi. In the same 38-40 year period of 1982, 2022, 23, you have the BJP, which has had Vajpayee ji, Advani ji, Gadkari ji, Rajnath ji, Janak Krishnamurti ji, Bangaru Lakshman ji, Nadda ji, Amit Shah ji. These are at least 10 presidents. And therefore, the Congress party...
But when you got into the Congress,
Right.
this was already something that everybody knew and you also knew.
Of course I knew.
Right? So it wasn't as if these are two options open and...
Well, I was gullible to believe Rahul Gandhi. I was gullible that we gave him 5-7 years to put in place things that he promised, but he did not deliver and he doesn't deliver. And apart from that, apart from not delivering...
Who brought you into the Congress? I'm asking
On
you
my
this
own.
because...
I'll tell you how I entered politics. I used to read about contributions of one family because the textbooks were also written in such a way that only one family was highlighted as the Karta Dharta of the entire Azadi Ka Andolan.
Yeah.
So you feel that this one family and the Congress party as an instrument has done everything for Azadi. Now, having read that, you feel inspired, and then I started doing student activism in college, in university.
Which is where?
Which is in Pune. Okay. I studied, brought up in Pune all my life. And when I finished my graduation in Pune, I had started joining the NSUI activities. I had also been,
doing work for the NSUI. I thought that I should contribute more. So that's where I used to save up my pocket money, come to Delhi, work in the media department, and people appreciated my work at that time. Digvijay Singh ji, Tom Vadakkan ji, and others who were in the Congress party, they appreciated my work. They even thought that I should be the spokesperson of the party. Let me tell you this also. The Congress party in 2012-13 had a special trial for who should be spokespersons. And I was the best there as well. Some reports had also been published that there was an entire meritocratic system that was put in place to decide that on which aspects of spokesperson should be selected. Content, knowledge, body language, tone, tonality, how to speak,
present. Despite me doing the best on that, Mr. Surjewala, lo and behold, his father was obviously, in the Congress, and Ajay Makan, they were selected and my name was chopped off. So that's the level to which anybody who has merit,
who has performance but not parivar is sidelined within the Congress. And therefore,
was that
after
the last straw?
That was not the last straw. The last straw for me was in 2017, when after several attempts to try and get the Congress to course correct, I had also told Congress leaders that if we want to, I was in the Congress then, so I was saying if we want to at least get 100 seats against Prime Minister Modi, because Modi ji was declared as the candidate, we must get rid of two people completely, Rahul and Robert. And I think that was the last straw from their side, that ab ye nahi sahan ho paega. So this is the thing that culminated in me leaving the Congress, because ultimately the Congress was unwilling to change its system to a more democratic system, to a more performance-oriented meritocratic system, and it was unwilling to define what its ideological positions should be on issues. I am a proud Muslim, but I don't think that we should be talking about eliminating Hinduism. We should not be talking about Ram ji ka astitva hai ya nahi hai. And therefore I used to tell them that on these issues, let's have a strong position where we can't be questioned as appeasing, as being appeasers of a particular vote bank. They were unwilling to do that as well. And in the subsequent years, they have tried to course correct, but they have not done it genuinely. And therefore, the Congress party continues to be in the mess that it is.
Okay. So let me come back to you after I speak with
Sure.
Aditi, because many of the points that you say, Aditi, you are a second generation politician. Your father was in the Congress party. You were considered close to the Gandhi family. You have, if I may say, you've studied abroad, so you have a kind of an upper class image also. You were considered, because you're from Raebareli, you were considered extremely close to Sonia Gandhi, which because of her Lok Sabha constituency. So tell me what happened with you. Why did you get, where did the off button come on when it came to you?
So I'm actually, my father was of course into electoral politics, but my grandfather before him was very close to the Gandhis. And so many points that Shahzad just made resonate with me so much in terms of just the Jahapana, culture of the Congress party. And absolutely, because I came from a bit of a Congress family. They did eventually expel my father as well, kind of like, my father had the same fate that my friend here suffered for anti-party activities, quote unquote. And then after that, he continued to contest independently. And he also had nothing to do with the Congress party for a long time. But before that, and especially my grandfather and so on were quite close to Indira Gandhi, who certainly was a different leader, I want to say. Despite everything, she still, even at the helm of, at the peak of her power, when she was at the helm of affairs, she still found a way to stay a little connected to the ground, which is something that her kids and her successors missed completely. And that was a huge change. And that's a change that everybody sees in Raebareli and Amethi, which is why they did eventually go ahead and lose Amethi, is because they could not, be it Sonia Gandhi or be it Rahul Gandhi, could not maintain the same connect with the constituency.
But they voted them for so many elections.
Agreed, but
one after the other. And I think even when Smriti Irani went there for the first time, they didn't even know who she was. And it was like, we are going to be voting because there's a muscle memory. Hamesha humne vote kiya Gandhi family ko. You keep hearing this in Raebareli.
But then you keep seeing that in Raebareli also. Her Sonia Gandhi's margin has been decreasing. It's been diminishing election after election.
She won
last year,
1 lakh
1 lakh
or
something.
Yeah.
Jahan 5 lakh se jeeti thi.
Okay.
Now it's just been dwindling down, and Rahul Gandhi eventually just lost Amethi. So that's a different. Personally speaking, so I came back to the country. I studied. I went
to Duke,
I went
right?
to Duke, yeah. So I got my master's in management studies from Duke. Came back and sort of wasn't thinking so much about politics at that point. I was quite young. But then my father got sick, as you know, and he was a cancer patient and spent quite a lot of time, in his treatments and was getting treated in Singapore and so on. And cut to 2017. Pre-2017 is when our Vidhan Sabha election happened, and father at that point had completely passed on the baton कि भाई देखो मेरी तबीयत अब सही नहीं रहती and I think you should contest. And at that time I was very lucky where almost every party was ready to offer me a ticket. My father being the sitting MLA for the last 5 terms. And Priyanka Gandhi approached me. I got a call from her office. I had to, I was asked to go meet her. And she was the one who inducted me into the party. And at that time, I hadn't met Sonia ji or Rahul ji at all because I was abroad. I was studying and I was like doing whatever, other things.
Most people have not met Rahul even today in Congress.
I met him like really later on, by the way. I just had I also had no real inclination of.
I'm going to get to that because there are many people who say that who were recruited by Priyanka Gandhi don't come in the what should I say? They are not the cherry on the cake for the Congress party. Those who are picked by Rahul Gandhi to join, they get the plum posting. So that's one thing that one has heard. I don't know about this because I'm no longer doing reporting for the Congress party. Those doors are shut for me.
Yeah.
But anyway, let me get to the point. Yeah. You guys would have inside stories.
Yeah. So anyway, I won my election. I won handsomely from a Congress ticket, and things were fine. I was a first-time legislator. More than party work, I was focused on my own constituency and learning how things work in Vidhan Sabha, and things were sort of fine. But eventually, when I started asking for more responsibility, it just I just didn't know who to talk to, and
why? Priyanka wasn't around.
No, she did. I have to say she did give me the time of the day. Maybe because I was from her constituency and Lok Sabha elections were around the corner, and they did win from the highest margin from my constituency. Sonia ji, she won from almost double the margin from my constituency than she did from the other Vidhan Sabhas within the Lok Sabha sector. And what would happen, which I found very interesting, Smita, and keep in mind, my father is someone who won consecutively for 5 terms. From Raebareli, independent from Congress ka gad and all that, is that he was a very cadre-based man, right? He had his own sangathan, he had his own karyakartas. So I had seen a very different kind of politics, very grassroots, very jameen se jude hue. My father would call his BDCs and his pradhans all the time, and every time I'd go to his office, sab chai pee rahe ho. Matlab, so very, very connected to the ground, sort of a thing. And when I would say things to Priyanka Gandhi that, ma'am, I want to do this, और आप मुझे कोई छोटा सा मतलब महिला के जो प्रदेश अध्यक्ष होते हैं महिला वाले, तो कांग्रेस के यूपी में उन्होंने 4 बनाए instead of like 1 प्रदेश अध्यक्ष, they made 4. So I was like, आप मुझे उन 4 में से एक बेशक बना दें, I don't mind. And so she would be like, हाँ, yeah, why don't you go talk to XYZ, whoever, let's say, संगठन में किसी को कह दिया कि आप जाके शहजाद से बात कर लें, इससे बात कर लें, उससे बात कर लें. And, we'll take it from there. I get it. Okay, she's busy. And when I would try to talk to these people, be it in Priyanka Gandhi's office or be it in Rahul Gandhi's office at this point, those sort of karyakartas or PROs or whatever you want to call them, karyakarta the, essentially we are BJP karyakartas, also Congress karyakartas. They had more attitude than the Gandhi family themselves.
अच्छा, reflected glory.
Yeah, and I was like, ये अच्छी बात है. तो वो ही phone नहीं उठाते थे. It would take me longer to get in touch with some of these people who were supposed to, sort of line these things up for them. And they had more attitude. They wouldn't answer their calls. They wouldn't get back. So eventually, just the inefficiencies rattled me. I'm coming from a state where out in a house of 403 MLAs, you have 7 MLAs. 7. And that too after a Gathbandhan with Samajwadi. 7 in a house of 403. And people used to make fun of us, जब हम पहली बार विधायक बने थे कि अरे तुम कांग्रेस वाले तो एक इनोवा में चले जाया करो ना. That's how,
yeah, okay.
the GOP, and here you are. So I joined the party at a time when it was already not in the center, certainly not in my state. And just how inefficient, and I would tell her a lot of things, it being her mother's constituency, that why don't you do this? Why don't you have a Pradhan Sammelan or Jan Pratinidhi Sammelan? And everything would be like, yeah. Everything was like, हाँ, बहुत बिल्कुल बहुत अच्छा idea है. Never happened.
So where was the problem? Do you
नहीं,
think
पर अब इनोवा से रिक्शा की स्थिति में आ चुके
नहीं नहीं स्कूटर दो हैं अब दो विधायक हैं.
really feel bad also, you know?
No, but you know, there's no reason to feel bad. And you know, I have obviously you have preferred one Poonawalla over the other in the terms of appearances on your podcast. But you know, he comes and or people from that ecosystem come and say, देखिए अगल बगल वाले ठीक नहीं हैं, इनके लेफ्ट लूनी एडवाइजर हैं और ऐसे हैं वैसे हैं, राहुल जी बड़े अच्छे हैं, बड़े एम्पैथेटिक हैं.
नहीं, वो तो मैं सुन चुकी हूँ कि दिल के अच्छे हैं.
Let me I want to decode this. First of all, a leader is one who knows who will be around him, who surround him, and it is the leader's pick. Today, Prime Minister Modi, if he has a Ashwini Vaishnav, if he has a Amit Shah ji, if he has a Nadda ji to run the party, that is Modi ji's credit. If he had inefficient people, that would go on Modi ji's discredit. Yeah. So you can't absolve the leader by saying कि leader बड़ा अच्छा है, पर इसके इर्द गिर्द जो लोग हैं, इर्द गिर्द के लोग यही चुनते हैं.
The onus is on the leader. End of the day.
दूसरी बात, empathetic. Let me please ask you, this man says mohabbat ki dukaan in every speech. That's the one line they have given him for the last 6-8 months. If he really believes in mohabbat ki dukaan, then why make such obnoxious commentary on the Prime Minister's family? Is this empathy? You take no action on them. Your allies have made such horrendous remarks. Your party has come out and justified it. Or the latest one being on Prime Minister's parivar. The latest being about what the Prime Minister should have done.
When you both were in the Congress, at that time, the politics was not as bitter as it's now. That's what I think. Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka did not make these kind of vicious comments against Modi. I remember it being against Smriti, but not so much against...
स्मिता जी, ये दुष्प्रचार और भ्रम है कि 2014 के बाद हमारी पॉलिटिक्स इतनी एक्रोमोनियस हुई है. प्लीज टेल मी हु गॉट अप एंड कॉल्ड वाजपेयी जी. इतने सौम्य व्यक्ति को गद्दार किसने बोला था पार्लियामेंट में?
वाजपेयी जी को गद्दार बोला गया है पार्लियामेंट में.